your place, so you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the critic. When she all up in your city, oh, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the critic. Rick the critic, Rick the critic.
Hi, I'm Rick the Critic. Thank you for welcoming me into your home once again. Today is Valentine's Day, and the only reason I didn't wear red is because I heard that you guys had seen red all in the last past 2 or 3 weeks, and it wasn't Valentine's Day. So I put on this color, and I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a special. We're going to talk about the four personalities of love. There's the negotiator, there's the builder, the explorer, and the director. Anyway, Helen Fisher from Rutgers University has done a study on some 28,000 people, and she has come up with some things on why people are the way they are, and their serotonin and their testosterone, testosterone. Okay, I'll get that right. But anyway, what she says is that her research suggests that each of us has a love personality, and how we're naturally inclined to behave with a romantic partner. Now then, she says that here the serotonin, dopamine, estrogen, and tes- testosterone are predominant. And in some people, the characteristics have that some people have the characteristics of one type, and others have combinations of the four types. Now, the builders have a lot of serotonin in their body, and serotonin promotes orderly, cautious behavior and respect for authority. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and it says that they also enjoy planning far ahead. They're literal and predictable. Uh, they are fastidious about their possessions, conscientious, dutiful, and they tolerate routine well. Now that's the builder. And then what it says is okay, what do builders bring to a relationship? Builders are good at forming strong networks and run businesses and households with great efficiency. A builder never keeps you waiting or forgets to fill up the gas tank or write down the wrong flight departure. Now, that's interesting to know. So that's if you have a lot of serotonin in your body, you would be considered a builder. Now let's see, and it says here also about sex and fidelity. That's interesting. Okay, it says builders are most likely to be attracted to other builders. They are serious when they court. Builders are unlikely even to consider divorce. Hmm. That's interesting. And let's see what else they say. Builders like routines. Two builders will rarely fight about their life in the bedroom. Living with a builder. Let the builder do things the way they want to do them. If you're convinced that you can do it better, just be quiet and let the builder do it his way. Now, how many of you, I mean, you probably know some builders, so keep these things in mind. Now, this is not everyone. Now, the explorer has high dopamine activity in their body, and it's associated with curiosity, spontaneously spontaneous risk taking, novelty seeking, irreverence, mental flexibility, and optimism. That's a whole mouthful. Okay, what the explorer brings to the table. The explorer is enthusiastic and full of energy. They're charming, creative. Explorers don't like to be told what to do, and they can be extravagant gift givers. I think I'd like an explorer. Now, there are sources of stress. The explorer's impulsiveness can create or grate on someone who would like to know what time to be ready for dinner or who prefers to buy theater tickets in advance. An explorer doesn't like repetitive tasks. So the explorer does not, if you want him to take out the trash can every night, that's probably something that the explorer wouldn't likely do because that's a daily task and that's repetitive. So we probably would have problems with the explorer on that part, okay? Okay, sources of stress. An explorer doesn't like repetitive tasks. I just said that. And explorers tend to be attracted to other explorers and they make exciting sex partners. Okay, living with an explorer. Don't try to keep an explorer from doing what interests him. Instead of imposing rules, find perimeters that the explorer can live with. Example, a builder husband and explorer wife had repeated showdowns over the explorer's chronic lateness. They finally agreed that the explorer would call her husband, let her know when she's late, and the husband would go on to fulfill the task or whatever they were going to do together, and then she would just show up later on. And that way, it didn't create a lot of arguments. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and then we have the negotiator. Now, it says men as well as women can have estrogen. So the negotiator is the person that has quite a bit of estrogen in their body. And it says the negotiators are highly verbal, agreeable, good at reading people. They are skilled at coming up with the right thing to say to make others feel valued. They're flexible and willing to change their minds. That's the negotiator. Let's see what the sources of stress are. The ability to see many sides of an issue can make it difficult for negotiators to reach decisions. They are so imaginative about possibilities that they may create constant anxiety for themselves. Because negotiators want everyone to be happy, they don't always say things clearly. That means they don't say what they mean clearly, and sometimes I guess it could probably lead to a lot of confusion if they're not clear. Sex and fidelity. Negotiators tend to be more attracted to directors. The negotiator needs the director's logic, forthrightness, and decisiveness to get things done. We haven't got to the director yet. That's the last guy on the list here. Negotiators seek deep intimacy with their partners. They want soulmates, so they will be patient, forgiving, and compassionate. But if a negotiator feels that he won't reach you to share, what will they do? They will turn elsewhere for the romance that they crave. All right. On the next one, we move on to our builders, and builders have testosterone, 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 testosterone is what I'm saying. Okay, both men and women can have it. Have that activity in the brain, leading them to be competitive, straightforward, logical, and pragmatic. What the director brings to a relationship is you don't have to second guess directors. They say exactly what they mean. Because of their ambition and competitiveness, they are dedicated to their work and typically well paid. Directors like to focus very deeply on a few subjects and learn everything about them. The sources of stress. Directors can alienate people with their bluntness, coming across as dictatorial and aloof. They get impatient when others are not as focused as they are, or they don't immediately grasp their ideas. They have a hard time leaving work behind. At the beach, the director is the one checking email. Sex and fidelity. Directors are most likely to be attracted to negotiators. The director relies on the negotiator's people skills. Sex is a genuine form of intimacy for them. They tend to be loyal, but if they cannot get the physical connection that they need, they will seek it elsewhere. Living with a director. Don't give a director hints or make gentle requests. The message will not get through. Instead, would you have time to say, I need you to do this by Friday? During disagreements, appeal to logic. To get the director to relax outside work hours, encourage activities that are absorbing, challenging, or competitive enough to distract them such as joining a tennis league or a book club. That is really interesting. So now those are the four love personalities that I just read about: the director, the builder, the explorer, and the negotiator. Which one are you? I'm kind of looking at. I kind of get the feeling that you could possibly have all four of these. You know, what I'm saying most of us probably have all four of them. We don't. I don't see anyone having just one. And the stress and the fidelity thing, that was very interesting. I mean, it was interesting. But anyway, these are the four love personalities. And if these are personalities that your partner possesses, if your partner is a builder, or a director, or a negotiator, or explorer, then you want to kind of match up with that. I hope that I've given you some information. It's Valentine's Day, and we wanted to talk about love and personalities and what's going on. What are you going to do for Valentine's Day? Let me tell you, I've talked to some people. They've got some really, their husbands had some very, very creative things to do for Valentine's. I saw some very creative Valentine gifts. I saw some very creative Valentine emails and all sorts of different kind of things. I was very excited. Um, Today, not only are we going to talk about the explorers and the directors and negotiators and the builders, we're going to have a little quiz. And that quiz is going to be which one are you and which one are you compatible with. Uh, if you're compatible with the builder, and if you answer yes to certain questions, then that's you're compatible with that person, and da 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 da. So we're going to do that today, and we're going to find out on this wonderful, beautiful Valentine's Day just who you're compatible with. I'm hoping that you're sitting on the couch with your builder or negotiator or whomever and sitting right next to him or her, and you guys can take this quiz together and see what comes up, okay? Listen, we're going to take a station break and going to go to commercial. Go get your water, get what you need, get your pencil, paper out where we can do this quiz, and come on back and see me again.
There is really only one boy, one girl, one tree, one forest, one deep dancing ocean, one mountain calling, one handful of sand through our fingers, one endless sky overhead, and one simple way to care for it all. Please visit earthshare.org and learn how the world's leading environmental groups are working together under one name, Earthshare, one environment, one simple way to care for it.
Hi, we're back. And listen, that was not the crew. That was me. I was just too quick. I just jumped the gun too quickly. And that's why we're kind of still standing here. We have a great crew. Everybody here is great. So that was Rick the critic's fault. But listen, we got a few minutes and we're going to take this quiz, and let's just see how well we do. Let's see who we're compatible with, who we're not compatible with. And this again is Helen Fisher from Rutgers University, and she's a PhD, da da, and she's put together this quiz, and also she is the one on the first half when we talked about the four personalities of love. She also is the person responsible for that. She took um, 28,000 people and tested them, and this is her findings that they were the builders, negotiators, the what did I say, explorers, builders, negotiators. I'm forgetting somebody. Explorers, builders, negotiators, and someone else. Directors. Directors. Okay, so let's take this quiz and let's see where we are. Let's see, because I think I gave it to you. Well, we'll just go over, just run over it again here. There's the builders that have a lot of serotonin in their brain, and then there are the explorers that have the dopamine, and then there are the negotiators who have a lot of estrogen, and then we have testosterone in the directors. Okay, so we're gonna with those with that information right there, we're gonna go to this, and here it is. Okay, our love quiz can improve your marriage. That's what she says. So let's see. It says chemistry is more than just a metaphor and for romantic compatibility. Brain chemicals really do play a role in determining whom we are attracted to and the strengths and tensions in our relationship. Her research has identified four main love types: explorer, builder, director, and negotiator. And we just talked about that. And it's based on whether the chemical dopamine, testosterone, serotonin, and estrogen is dominant in a person's brain. A little over a year ago, she reported that through her research, more on how to make their relationships stronger by showing you your love type. So here we go with this here. It says, okay, each of us is a combination of all four types and may express any of the four styles depending on the situation. However, we tend to act according to one type. Most often, however, we tend to act accordingly to one type most often. For clues to your love type, answer yes or no to the following questions. Okay, here's the first question. I do things on the spur of the moment. I have a wide range of interest. Number 3, I am more creative than most. And this is a yes or no, okay? My friends and family would say that I have traditional values. Number 5, I think consistent routines keep life orderly and relaxing. 6, people should behave according to standards of proper conduct. 7, I am able to solve problems without letting emotions get into the way. Number 8, debating is a good way to match my wits with others. Debating is a good way to match my wits with others. 9, I am more analytical and logical than most people. I am more analytical and logical than most people. Number 10, I like to get to know my friends' deepest feelings and deepest needs. I like to know my friends' deepest feelings and deepest needs. Number 11, after an emotional film, I often still feel moved by it hours later. So after you watch a tearjerker, you might it might come up in your spirit, or you might talk about it on the phone and you're conversing with your friends and it still gets you a little emotional. And then number 12 is when I wake from a vivid dream, I need a few seconds to return to reality. That's really some strong. I think I must dream maybe twice a year I dream. I don't dream that often, so that's very interesting. Okay, so go over them really quickly again. I do things at the spur of the moment. I have a wide range of interests. I am more creative than most. My friends and family would say that I have traditional values. I think consistent routines keep life orderly and relaxing. People should behave according to standards of proper conduct. I am able to solve problems without letting emotions get in the way. Debating is a good way to match my wits with others. I am more analytical and logical than most people. I like to know my friends' deepest needs and feelings. And after an emotional film, I often still feel moved by it hours later. And number 12, when I wake from a vivid dream, I need a few seconds to return to reality. Okay, that sounds like very deep sleep. Now let's see how well you did, how well you scored on the test, okay? So now it says here if you answered yes to questions 1, 2, and 3, which is I do things at the spur of the moment, I have a wide range of interests, I am more creative than most. If you answered yes to questions 1, 2, and 3, you probably are an explorer, which means you have a lot of dopamine in your body, in your brain. So, and explorers love novelty, they're spontaneous, they are freedom and risk takers. They're free and they're risk takers. They are curious, creative, offbeat, magnetic, flexible, optimistic, and full of energy. Is that you? So now that is, if you answered one, you answered yes to questions 1, 2, and 3, then that means that you're an explorer, according to Helen Fisher of Rugby University. Now then, if you answered yes to questions 4, 5, and 6, you probably are a builder, and serotonin is very dominant in the brain. Builders, okay, so let's go over 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 is my friends and family would say that I have traditional values. 5, I think consistent routines keep life orderly and relaxing. 6, people should behave according to standards of proper conduct. Now, if you answered yes to those, then you are probably a builder. And builders are guardians of tradition and respecters of authority. They are cautious but not fearful. They prefer rules and routines and are comfortable with statistics and concrete details. They are calm, they are orderly, they're persistent, patient, and frugal. Builders also are highly social, community oriented, cooperative, and loyal. So if that is you, you are a builder. So you would have answered the 4, 5, and 6. Now it says here if you answered yes to questions 7, 8, and 9, and 7 is I am a problem solver without letting emotions get in the way. I debate a good way. Debating is a good way to match my wits with others. I am more analytical and logical than most people. If you answered yes to those 3, then you probably are a director. And that testosterone, we know what it is. Testos, testos, testosterone is dominant, although its popularity thought of in a male hormone. Directors can be male or female. Directors are decisive, exacting, competitive, ambitious, and self contained. Okay, and we only got 5 minutes, so we're going to have to move on quickly here. Let's see. Now, if you answered yes to questions 10 and 11 and 12, then you are probably a negotiator. And that means you have a lot of estrogen, is dominant. Uh, Negotiators are big picture thinkers, imaginative, open to possibility, and comfortable. They are empathetic, intuitive, emotionally expressive, and sensitive to others' needs, as well as introspective and aware of their own internal process or processes. Negotiators are adept with words and have good people skills. They are agreeable and read tone and gesture well. Hmm. If you answered yes to questions in more than one category, choose the category in which you had the most yes answers. If there is a tie, you exhibit traits from each of those categories, whichever the tie is. That's where you. That's interesting. That is so fascinating. Natural pairings. Explorer and explorer naturally pair together. Builder and builder naturally pair together. Director and negotiator naturally pair together. Hmm. Now, that's interesting. And then the ones that are challenging are explorer builder, builder director, and explorer negotiator. Wow. Advice for explorer negotiator pairs. Hmm. Well, if you are paired with either or, we know, we know this is just something that Helen Fisher did, and this was something that she did with 28,000 people. But guess what? Who knows who those 28,000 people are? They could have been the 28,000 people in Africa, or the 28,000 people in Europe, or the 28,000 people. God knows where they get these people from to do these tests. But what I say to you as Rick the Critic is that if you have someone and you love them, whether they're a builder, negotiator, whatever they are, just love them. Have a wonderful, wonderful, great, happy Valentine's Day, and inspire. All of this that we read today is just someone else's is thoughts, someone else's opinion, and you could be either or and still have a great, great relationship. I am Rick the Critic. Thank you for allowing me to come in your home, and remember to always love one another, not because it's just Valentine's Day, but because it's the right thing to do. I'm Rick the Critic. I'm signing off. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you next week.
Rick, the critic, when she come into your place, so you best not forget it. She gon' tell you how it is, cause she's Rick the critic. When she all up in your city, oh, you best not forget it. Let you know if she like it, and if she get with it. Let the whole world know and be the first to admit it. Let you know if it's good and if she dig it, cause she's Rick the critic. Rick the critic, Rick the critic, Rick the critic. She the first to admit it if she can't dig it, cause she's Rick the critic, 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 Rick the critic.